Hi, everyone. Hi, fantastical creatures around the world. This is a bit of a treat for me to get to do a video for the Fantastical Creature Playspace out of the Fantastical Creature Playspace. We do videos like this every week inside of our Facebook group. And today I got that a lot of people might need some more playtime. And so I was like, all right, let's go ahead and invite even more people to this energy and to all of the energies of what's actually possible beyond all of the crazy in the world. Hi, Alana. Hi, Aristides. Aristides, yes. Hi. And one of the other things, too, with this is that each week we do something different. We play in a different way. Hi, Linda. Mwah. And I had posted in our Fantastical Creature Play Space a question for people to look at. And I was just going to do like a fun reading around this question. And the question is posted in the chat here. It's, what fantastical creatures are you afraid of? And which ones do others find scary that you don't? And part of why I'm great, thanks for asking. And part of why I actually brought this up is many people in the last couple of weeks, even before the coronavirus stuff, were asking me about fantastical creatures and what are they? And they said that there's a lot of them that they're scared of, and it's affected their engagement with the group. It's actually affected, they're realizing now, their receiving of themselves and with their bodies from other people. And so I was like, all right, let's look at that. Let's look at these fantastical creatures that you might be scared of, and if that's actually true for you, if maybe you're aware of other people's fear and picking up on that and thinking that it's yours. And also, let's have fun with it. Let's actually imbue it and insert a whole bunch more joy and play to it. I get right now that that's very much required in the world, that there's not a lot of people having fun. And this is not to play down a lot of the seriousness and a lot of the things that are going on in the world. But one of the things that I get from my own experiences and from working with clients around the world is that if we're actually willing to have ease and be more joyful in the midst of all of this intensity, in the midst of all of the crazy, in the midst of all of the panic, then we can actually get a lot clearer on what's actually true for us, what's going to work for us, what we can do to choose beyond it, to create something that might address what's going on in our own way, because each of us have different gifts and capacities and different ways of contributing to the world. And so, hi, fantastical creatures. How would you like to contribute to the world today? And perhaps one of those ways might be with a little bit more play and joy. So that's what I'm choosing right now in these 10 seconds. And let's see. Hi, Severine. Hi, Loredana. Hi, Vioma. And so I'm actually going to look at the postings in the group to pull up some of that energy. I asked about which creatures people are afraid of and which ones are other people scared of that you're not. Because there's a lot. Like, I know a lot of people have things about trolls. And I actually find trolls to be kind of endearing. They're like clumsy and big, and they kind of want to give them a hug. Or maybe that's just me. I want to give them a hug. They're like the hairier, grumpier version of bears to me. So it's just like, oh, okay. Oh, people are really scared of trolls. All right. What if we didn't judge ourselves for not being scared of them, even though other people are? So some of the other creatures that people posted about in the Fantastical Creature Play Space, they said spiders. Who else is scared of spiders? Some people are scared of dragons, cockroaches, rats, lizards. Aw, lizards. Aw. I love lizards. Sharks. Yeah, I think that I'd only be very, very aware of the shark and concerned when I was in the water, and it really depends on the shark. So one of the things that I love about my experiences and travels around the world is something like that, sharks. That would be such a beyond for so many people, such a wow to be around a shark, right? And I was scuba diving in Thailand and I got to see a whale shark 3 times in one day. And if you had told me when I was growing up as a kid, you're going to swim with a shark and you're not going to be in a protective cage, not cave, and you're going to be in awe of the beauty of the shark and receive from the shark because it was such a gift. I had to make sure to keep breathing. For those of you that scuba dive, you know how important continuously it is, right? And so when you're excited, sometimes you want to hold your breath, but you can't do that when you're scuba diving. And whale sharks are different than other sharks, like, you know, killer sharks, things like that, killer whales, because they're actually, if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. This one was a brown one with white spots, and it was really different. It was just very calm, and it had a bunch of bright yellow fish swimming around it, kind of its crew, its entourage. And that's, funny enough, part of this video today was to see what other fantastical creatures we might want to add to our crew. We might want to create with and receive from and play with. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Harish. How are you? And so one of the things that I'd love to invite everyone to that's watching this now and in the future is to look at the animals that you may have been scared of before, the creatures you may have been scared of before, and maybe the ones that you're scared of now, and see what the gift is in them. So for the people who mentioned that they're scared of spiders, spiders are amazing. I used to go to a lot of spider and expos and things like that in the Chicagoland area. There's a big reptile expo in like Tinley Park area that some friends have taken me to. And hi, friends, you know who you are. And what was really great is you got to actually hold them in your hand and pet them and learn about them, educate yourself about those very animals that you might have been like, la, 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 over there, no way. I was in Costa Rica and I got to hold a poisonous spider. And the guide, I was in the Manuel Antonio National Park, and the guide for our tour in there, who's amazing, he was like, who wants to hold the spider? It's a poisonous spider. It's something like the queen of something. I forget the name now in English. They said it in Spanish, and I was like, me! And everyone else was like, ah! But here's the thing. When you're willing to actually expand, breathe, not, well, sometimes, but then shift it to whatever is actually ease for your body, and go and dive in and play, I got to hold this spider and look at it, and it was one of the most beautiful creatures I had ever seen in my life up until that point. And I wonder how many of us are fantastical creatures that other people are intimidated by, or there's something about us that kind of throws other people off, that they're like, what's there, what's going on, this person's a little different, a little weird, but odd. And then we start to shut that off because we're very aware of other people who are scared of us, who are intimidated by us, and we're not willing to be that energy anymore in the world. And so then we don't get to gift to people like this beautiful spider did to me, like the beautiful shark did in Thailand. If I had let the fear stop me, I wouldn't have gotten to receive this beautiful gift from them of their presence, of their energy, of their peace and calm. They didn't have a point of view about me. They were like, hey, you're here. Cool. And I'm wondering how many more of us can be that with the creatures around the world, with the things that are maybe coming up for us as something fearful. What if it wasn't actually something to fear at all, and we can receive awareness from them? We can receive ideas and inspiration as to what we can create. So spiders are amazing that way. And, you know, if you like the shamanic arts, spiders are also a lot about the weavers, right? Being able to weave your own story, being able to weave and decide what's actually going to be your story. Is it going to be a story of fear, of hiding, of contraction, of panic, or is it going to be a story of invitation beyond this world, beyond this reality? Gosh, yeah. What would your story like to be? What would you like your story to be? So, looking here, somebody else put, so the shark, we talked about the shark. Awesome. I'm waiting to see if anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask a fantastical creature, let me know. But I'm going to keep addressing the animals that people posted in the Fantastical Creature Playspace. And if you want to put some in here, hi Nancy, please do. Some other animals people mentioned, yes, the snake. So has anyone petted a snake other than me? Here's the thing. One of the things that was such a gift to me as a child was we used to live in the zoos. I was actually just talking to someone about this weekend, where my parents were both teachers, and not only did they educate us about books, right, and math and numbers and reading and writing, arithmetic, all of that stuff, they also, even though they were scared of many things, and I get this now as an adult, how amazing my parents were with this. They had their fears. They had their quirks and things that they were scared of. And yet, you love snakes too, Alana, cool. And a lot of people are scared of them, yeah. Like what they did, even though they were scared, something that maybe they didn't even like themselves, like a certain food they didn't like, they would still present it to us to try. So they didn't project, oh, if I don't like it, you can't even be exposed to it. You can't even be around it. Well, same thing with animals. We would go to the zoo, we would go to the aquarium, and even there were certain animals in there that they did not like, that they were not vibing with at all. They would still let us play with them and do their best to stay very calm, or at least not outwardly show their fear, so that we would pick up on it and then make it ours. And so for animals, me, my brother, my sister, we all love all animals, even the ones that are dangerous. Like my sister, and hi Sita, wherever you are in the world. My sister Sita can watch Animal Planet like all day. Like she's amazing with animals. She knows so much about animals, and it started in our childhood. So for the educators out there, for the parents, for the caregivers out there, if you are around children or young adults and you're talking to them about the world, and you're talking to them about fantastical creatures and of all kinds, be it the mythical, like sphinxes and unicorns and mermaids, to snakes and rats and sharks, please be very aware of the words you're using with them about these creatures, because you're planting seeds there. And you could plant seeds of consciousness, of play, of receiving from these animals and these creatures and of themselves, especially if they have any animal-like characteristics. I have definitely some kiddos I work with that are very slippery like snakes, that are they love crawling all over the place like spiders. They love being in the water like mermaids and sharks. I have those kids that I work with. I have those young adults that I adore. And so if they have any aspect of those energies of those animals, by telling them that's something to fear, for some of these kids, they start fearing that energy in themselves. And is that what you would like for them and with them? Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, y'all. Awesome. A comment in the chat here, I don't kill snakes, I run away from them. Well, that's a choice. What if instead of running, depending on the snake, obviously use awareness, right? You kind of sat and said, hi. Hi, snake. How's it going today? Do you have any messages for me? Is there any way I can contribute to you today? Hi. Just hi could be really nice. Yeah, I'm weird and different with creatures, Loredana. Thank you for that. Hi, Serena. All right, cool. So some other people were talking about, let me pull up here. Oh, somebody was mentioning the dragons. So, oh, and sphinxes. Okay, sphinxes. And oh, phoenix. Sorry, I mispronounced that. Phoenixes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so cool. So with the phoenix, um, gosh, it's interesting. I had never heard anyone that was fearful of a phoenix before. That's the bird that, when it dies, is rise above the ashes, right? You know, you might have seen it in Harry Potter as well. Love the Harry Potters for what a lot of different creatures in there. Maybe some of us have had some fears about the Dementors. And for me, I kind of found them just annoying. I wasn't scared of them. I was like, ugh, like like it's like they're pesky. You know, it's like whatever. And what if that you could shift it to that in some of those things that you're scared of? But the phoenix is this beautiful bird that when it dies, it keeps living anew, one life after the other life after the other life. And it doesn't let the way that it dies. It could be a really dramatic and traumatic death. It could be a very peaceful death. Doesn't matter. It chooses to keep living over and over and over again. And that's one of the things I love about a lot of the fantastical creatures and the mythical creatures is that they they keep choosing to live all the time, like continuously and exuberantly they choose to live until, yes, they get to a moment where they might choose to die. But until then, until that very last breath, they're like, but I want to live, but I want to live, but I want to live. So do you all want to live? And which animals have the energy of living even more exuberantly, even more your way that you might be avoiding? Like, I love dragon energy. For those that were saying about bringing up the dragon, you know, Loredana, who's here, thank you, Loredana, for translating into Italian our chat here. She is talk about the mother of dragons. Like, move over, Game of Thrones lady. Loredana's the mother of all dragons. And one of the things that's such a gift about that is when you're willing to play with the dragon energy, you can burn away any limitation, anything that you have decided or anyone else is telling you is an obstacle, and go wah, with that big fiery breath and blow it out of the way. Huh? Are you guys willing? You want to go wah, with me? And what if we could do that with all the things right now that people are telling us are an obstacle, are significant, are going to hurt us, and send your dragon energy their way to burn it apart, to just explode it out of your universe so it's not relevant to you and to your body. Yeah. Melt it, all the limitations. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I really love the energy that we were just talking about with the phoenix as well, just to finish that thought. What for the person that put that they are fearful of phoenixes, let me know what it is about them that is fearful, that makes you fearful of them. I'm very curious. Let's see, what other ones do we have posted here? Oh, the bees. So people are scared of bees. It's funny. You know, my sister, who I was just mentioning, I guess she's very much here. Thanks for your contribution, Sita. Wow. We can't talk about creatures and not think about my sister and my brother. But with bees, she would get stung like crazy all the time. Like, they loved her. And one of the things that shifted it for her is her acknowledging how much she was like a bee, how much she was like the animals that she was allergic to at the time, that she's no longer allergic to, how much she had those attributes and energies, and they were kind of trying to flirt and play with her and be near her and get her attention. And her resistance to receiving the messages from them and playing with them is part of them singing her and all of that, and her having this strong reaction to them. But as soon as she stops having that as a consideration in her world, she stopped getting stung by bees. Like, it's rare. I can't remember the last time she said that she was stung by a bee. I'll have to check in with her about that. So do we have the energies of the very things that we're saying we're fearful of? And then we're actually, by resisting and being fearful of them, we're actually kind of blocking out something that we can receive from ourselves and from our bodies, these fantastical bodies that we have. Comment here, lizards always come whichever house I stay in. I watch the way they hunt. Ah, very interesting. So they find you wherever you are. So how much are you like a lizard? And what energies of a lizard could you use to your advantage? And, what could you create with that? That's so fun. Say hi to the lizard friends for me. Another comment in the chat, I got the energy of butterflies to assist in the choice to live. Yeah, a butterfly doesn't live so long. And as a metamorphic massage practitioner, it is interesting, as butterfly is the symbol of this approach. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I love the idea and the energy of the butterfly. And it's true, it doesn't live long, but as long as it's living full out, full tilt, And so what if we, for however long or short we live, we're completely here with everything that we are, including all of these fantastical energies of these creatures and all the seen and unseen. Yeah. Hey, Jordan. Hey, Paola. Hi, Stephanie. Right. A question here. What messages do all these creatures give us? Yeah, it's going to be different for each one, and it's going to be different for each one of us in any given moment. I've gotten, like, when I go on a walk by the lake by my house, like the turtles over here and the birds will tell me different things. And sometimes it's just, hey, I see you. Hey, thanks for being here on the planet. It can be as simple as that to, hey, what if you created this? What if you talked to this person? What if you went here next? Or just the acknowledgement of, oh, you've come out of hiding. Could you come out of hiding even more, please? Could you be here even more? We really like your energy, and the world is asking for more of you. Are you willing to step up and show up even more in the world? Thanks for that question, Barita. I love that. And what can we create by these creatures and with these creatures? Absolutely. Like, with these creatures, so much is possible, because here's the thing. And thanks for all of y'all that have been watching this so far. We're all fantastical creatures. A lot of the people in the play space that first go in, they think that it's all about the animals, but it's not. It's about us too. Each of us are fantastical. We perceive and see the seen and the unseen energies of the world and beyond this world. We can have all of us in a fantastic way. And so that's why fantastical is spelled the way it is, for the phantom energies, for those fantastical creatures and energies that have bodies and those that don't. There are a lot of us that are aware of people that are choosing not to live here anymore. And what if we could still connect with them and create with them and play with those people, those beings, even if they choose not to live here anymore, and still choose to live here exuberantly, really big, even if they're not choosing to have a body on this planet anymore. I've had a lot of that in the last couple of months. Maybe that's been the case for some of you and your loved ones. Hi, Lisa. Hello. All right. So just to finish up here, I'm double checking that I'm not missing any other creatures that were mentioned. Oh, there's the creatures that are in closets and under beds and things like that people were mentioning from their childhood. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, and how many of those are trying to get your attention to play with and create with? Like, I love the movie Monsters, Inc. Have you guys seen that? Where they have all these monsters that are trying to scare the children, and then there's the one that actually becomes friends with the child. And so a lot of us think that all of them are the scary ones, right? And they have their lives and they have their points of views and they have their families and things like that. just like all the other fantastical creatures around the world. They might have their lives and their families and their interesting points of views. And what if we actually were willing to look at that instead of saying, well, outwardly, they're the scary big monster that's hairy and goes rah. And you're like, a lot of us go rah when we really want to be like, hey, could you give me a hug? But we lash out, we put up walls. That rah can be that. And instead, we could choose something else. Oh, yeah, thanks. We're going to have that Awaken Our Capacities with Living and Dying in France. Thanks for putting that in there, Severine. We're to have a body process that I created that addresses this, is looking at where we're willing to live fully and when we're willing to die, where we're aware of people who are dying and killing possibilities, and not letting that stop us, and not having that be something that we're at the advantage of, or we're kind of tossed around based on other people's choices. So yeah, great question. Another one. Wow. Do you think these creatures are useful to you? Absolutely. Not all of them, but a lot more of them than we acknowledge. So it's not that everything's going to be a contribution and everything's going to be something that you want to create with or that you want to play with. But being willing to look at that, like really, really look at that and see what's possible with any given creature and with any given energy and what's not possible is, I think, more effective than being like, and nope, and nope, and nope, and no to all of it. Yes, fire and water creatures are your gang. Awesome. Go girl. Awesome. I love that. So I like the energy of gang right now. I often use crew. Some people use their team, like whatever that is for you. And it could be those that have bodies that you have as part of your business and your life, like your kids and your partners and your coworkers, and adding in the ones that are unseen as well. What a dynamic combination. So you can actually ramp it up even more. You can actually increase your receiving and your creating even more if you so choose. You don't have to go with anything I say, but just my interesting point of view, I find that makes things a lot more fun and living a lot more worthwhile. Oh, yes, the quote here, I am from the dragon people and I live in the midst of monstrous creatures, quote unquote monstrous creatures. Gigantic wild dogs are in my garden with 2 large phoenixes. We're talking about the phoenixes. And it's the living dead humans that scare me the most. Yeah. How many people are just walking zombies? Like, yes, they have bodies, but they're not really actually choosing to live fully, completely be here. They're kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of being here. And if that's any aspect of that is you might really want to play with us in France and look at this body process. And we have a free call that we did recently that gives you a taste of one of the positions for that body process. It's super dynamic, and that can be available to you if you would like. Yeah, great question. This might be a stupid question, but how about vampires? How about them? Oh my gosh. So, wow, okay, all these questions right at the end here. I'm going to extend my time just a little bit because I love these questions, and we'll maybe have to do another video talking about this some more. But vampires, one of the things when you're willing to be aware of vampires, you're willing to have your immortality and acknowledge that your way. Like, how have you been living continuously in one single body or in multiple bodies in different lifetimes, if you believe in different lifetimes, looking at that and then using that to your advantage. So you get to actually access the information from all of those lifetimes instead of just thinking it's just this one that you have to access, or past, present, and future in this life. A lot of people aren't willing to receive from their past, present, and future. It's just maybe right now in the immediate time period. The other piece about vampires that I love is if you're willing to be aware of vampiric energy, then you'll be aware of the people that are sucking energy away from you in a way that's unconscious. So if you get that there are people who are taking energy away from you, instead of resisting it, you can flow more energy toward them because you have limitless amounts of energy available to you. If you don't get what I mean by this, let me know. But you don't have any limit to the amount of energy you have available to you. So just give them to it. Give them the energy. Give them what they're asking for. And that resistance, they'll all of a sudden be like, it'll kind of pop. That they won't actually be as needy and desperate around you. I do a lot of this with my parents who have very needy, desperate children that are always crawling all over them and want a lot of their energy, and they feel like it's draining them. Well, what if that actually wasn't true? What if nothing could drain your energy, including vampires? But if you're willing to be aware of that type of energy flow, that vampiric energy, then you won't be at the effect of it, just like what we've talked about with all of these other ones. Thanks for that question. Awesome. Love it. Wow. What else? What is this fear of humans and people in bodies? Yeah, what do you mean by that? There's a lot of places we can go with that. So give me a little bit more and we can see about that one. They're like the bot, just empty corpses walking around. That's a lot of people. Yeah. Yes, you are friends with one of those vampires. Yeah, I've definitely had that with a lot of friends and family members, and I've actually can create something different, a different relationship with them if I didn't resist it and I just looked at what's actually possible and what I could choose different to create something different. As soon as I started choosing something different with them, the dynamic shifted. Yeah, yeah. How can they help us? They live a very short life. Are we talking about lizards or the butterfly or something else? Just because something lives a short life doesn't mean that you can't receive from it and they can't be a gift to you. I've unfortunately spoken with a lot of people, unfortunately just because it was very hard for the people who were talking to me about it, about those who have had miscarriages and those who have who've lost children at a very young age. That's one of my gifts, is talking to people about their kids, be it living and dead, who and inviting them to still communicate with them, receive from them, and let go of the guilt and the shame and the judgment and anywhere that it's locked in their bodies. And so let's say they didn't even get to have a physical body. They were miscarried, or let's say they lived 1 or 2 years before they died from some kind of illness or a congenital disorder or something like that. Does that make their life any less of a gift? Does it make their presence in the world anything that, does it make it less possible for you to receive from them, even though they've only lived a short amount of time? My point of view is no, but that's just my point of view. So if we didn't actually say, oh, they have a short lifespan, be it this insect, this lizard, this animal, or this person, well, I mean, how much more could we receive? And how much more could we judge to that contracted and with ghosts and creatures? Yeah, there's a lot of fear of people that are spirits and ghosts. For next time, as well, when it's interested, if you would like for the serenity and joy possible with living and dying that we did. It was a free call. Let us know. You just have to be subscribed to the email list and we'll send you the replay of it. Just you can message me directly or any of the Phantastical Creature crew members. There are many of us here now, thank goodness, because I can't do this by myself. And we look at that. We look at that a little bit more. The one thing I will say, Aradana, is that we have some energy of that in us. If we didn't actually think that the spirit world and ghosts and those without bodies, the disembodied, were dangerous, were something to fear, I wonder how much more we could create with them as well. I just had a session with a client where they were resisting receiving from entities in their house, and that very resistance was stopping their house from being sold. I instead was able to sell my condo in a week using these energetic tools and having a great realtor. Jordan's here. Hi, Jordan. And then my mom sold her townhouse by herself in 3 days. So, and that was talking to the house as an entity and talking to the disembodied beings, those that were ghosts and spirits in the house, and co-creating with them to be able to sell the house faster. So a lot more is possible, and way more beyond the scope of this quick little video. But I invite you all to play in the Phantastical Creature Playspace. I included the link for that group here. It's a free space. We play every week in different ways. There are people all around the world in different languages are represented in the group. And I'm getting that if you're interested in actually being more aware of the seen and unseen of fantastical creatures and how you, being you, are a fantastical creature, this might be a play space for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for your questions. I love them. If you would like another video on this topic, let me know. Definitely could talk more about it, but this was just a little playtime for us. Let's not make any of this significant, anything that's showing up in the world, and how much more fantastical can we be with all of this. Yes, mwah. I can do the next one in Spanish and English. Yes, I do some videos in Spanish and English and go back and forth, so I can do that. Thanks for asking, my love. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Mwah.